Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain, and welcome to the Midweek Preview for the Predictor League and the Fantasy Football. Now, as ever, if you have not yet joined the Predictor League, there is a link to that down in the description. It's never too late to join, because as we can see here, there is always Golden Cap glory, and this time, this week, it goes to Craig T. I believe that's the first Golden Cap for him, or for them. If Craig, it's probably a him, isn't it? I could be wrong. Very impressive. Obviously, there were a few extra games last game week, but 23 points is a very, very impressive score indeed. Webby's Whites, as ever, was right up there, as was Urosh, the Real Villain, Wolfman, myself, and Rujistan breaking the 20-point margin. And we can go down and see everybody else all the way down there. Citizen Nevin MacVolchi having rare bad weeks for them. Now, if we go and have a quick look at the overall leaderboard, you can kind of see it down the side there. But it is Webby's Whites continuing to extend their lead. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Ahead of Wolfman, the Real Villain, Craig T moving up with his Golden Cap. Rujistan drops down one, and we can see everybody else down there, as my week actually meant I've overtaken a couple of people, which is unlike me, I've got to be honest. I'm liking the view from up here in 9th. And we can go down there and see everybody else that is taking part. Now, that of course brings us to the games that are coming up this game week. And as ever, I have not checked, so we'll go in blind. Newcastle versus Leeds. Newcastle, they were woeful against Villa. They look a team that, well, you worry for them, don't you? I mean, at home, you do. I mean, Leeds aren't particularly fantastic, but you do think they're going to have way more than enough to be able to get past Newcastle. Crystal Palace and West Ham. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I really don't quite rate Crystal Palace. West Ham are a team that, 1-0 seems to be a relatively decent result for them, doesn't it, recently? So let's go with that. That sounds about right. West Brom versus Manchester City. I mean, if you're West Brom, you're a little bit scared, aren't you? Although no De Bruyne, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. We'll say 3-0, and that's probably being nice to West Brom. Southampton versus Arsenal. Southampton are a strange team, aren't they? It's difficult to know exactly what you're going to get from them. At home, I think they can beat Arsenal. Although Arsenal have picked up, haven't they, recently? Let's say a 1-1. Let's say it ends in a draw, that one. Burnley versus Aston Villa. Normally a game I would go to because Burnley is only just up the road from me. I want to say Villa wins, but Burnley are just very Burnley, aren't they? Let's say probably. I mean, if you got a draw at Burnley, it's not a terrible result, is it? So let's say 0-0. I want to say Villa can win, but I don't want to jinx it. Chelsea, of course, a Frank Lampardless Chelsea against Wolves. I'm really interested to see how Chelsea respond to having the new manager. It looks as though, time recorded, it's going to be Thomas Tuchel. I think at home, they might get a response. They're too good. You look at the players they have, they're too good, aren't they, to be not right up there competing for the league. Brighton versus Fulham. Brighton are a decent team, aren't they? They are, of course, the Haaland and Wolf Welders of the Premier League, as I've been told many, many times by Mr. Gary Turpie. Fulham just don't score, do they? They don't concede many, but they just don't score. I think Brighton could maybe do it. It's actually a relegation 6-pointer, really, isn't it? Everton versus Leicester. Now, Vardy is out for Leicester, isn't he? I've said all season I think that Everton are a very good side, so we'll go with a 2-1 win for Everton at home. Manchester United versus Sheffield United. Unfortunately, over 10-1 is worth a go, but you just can't see Sheffield United getting much out of this, can you? Let's say maybe 3-1. They do tend to concede a goal or two, don't they? Yeah, I'll say 3-1. And that brings us to the final game, Spurs versus Liverpool. That is not good form from Liverpool, is it? It's so strange, isn't it? They just look so horribly out of form right now. And it's difficult to, although 7-0's not too bad, but they got all their goals in one game, didn't they? It must be infuriating if you're a Liverpool fan. 7, and then they've barely scored since. Spurs have they've not been great either, have they? Is this the sort of game that just ends 0-0? Liverpool can't score. Mourinho just doesn't want to lose. I can be so negative, can't I? I really can. But we'll go with, maybe we'll be more positive and say 1-1. It'll be 0-0 now, that's for sure. If you haven't done your tips yet, though, don't forget to go and do them. First game is tomorrow. Happy Australia Day to everybody for tomorrow. It is tomorrow at 6. So just make sure you have your first tip done by then. Brings us to fantasy football, and, well, despite triple captaining De Bruyne, he was subbed off in the 59th minute, which is absolutely infuriating. I didn't do too much, so that's essentially me done for the year. McGinn and Tonic continue to come up this table, but it is the Cobra Chickens leading the way. Lost a little bit of the lead to Volt GFC, but it's looking as though the Cobra Chickens are running away with it. If we have a look, I want to do pick team, don't I? Just see my team for this week. It's my two goalkeepers playing against each other. I'm going to go with Pope because I don't want to jinx it by putting a Villa goalkeeper in there. Tarkovsky, again, is staying in because it's the way that it works, right? If I have Burnley players in my fantasy team, Villa will score goals. That's just how football works. So that's what's going to happen. Robertson and Zuma. I'm assuming Zuma will play. If he doesn't, we've got Keane on the bench, so he can come in. Klitsch, Grealish, Son, and new man that I've brought in for De Bruyne, Fernandes. They will be the midfield. He will be captain, will Mr. Fernandes. It will be Watkins. Go on, son. It'll be Werner. I've brought in for Vardy because I'm just wondering if, new manager, if he will start firing. So we brought him in as a little bit of a risk, and it will be Bamford as the other man up top playing against Newcastle. Surely there's going to be a goal in it for him. So that is my team. Make sure if you are our Patreon in this competition, you don't forget to update your teams for the new week. But that will do it as ever for the preview. Keep them short and sweet. Unless you are who Villa playing this week, enjoy your football anyway. Unless you're playing Villa, in which case I hope you're Burnley, isn't it? In which case I do hope you lose. But everybody else, we'll see you next time for the next weekend preview. Take care.